we got our first successful module of the morning picked. I come to a realization, first getting started and getting that first module built, instead of talking to the camera, I need to do more paying attention to the machine. That way I don't forget crucial steps like running that accumulator on that first module. As long as we've been doing harvest here, I done gotten pretty tired, especially having to spend time out on the zombie trail late at night. I got to the point of harvest season where I don't multitask near as well as what I do other parts of the season. But anyway, I got a pretty ambitious goal today. I want to get done with this Todd farm here. We got about 35 acres left on it, and then I'd like to go down the road, get our farthest farm, the Baker farm. Got about 30 acres on it. I would absolutely love to get all of that done today. That way we don't have to come all the way back up to Madison County, or this far into Madison County, tomorrow morning to get everything serviced. Don't know if it'll be possible. We're going to need to have a trouble-free day to do that. Now this picker's capable of covering the ground, but however, we're not in nice big flat fields. On this farm, the next field, he's got inrows all the way around it, just doing this, following tree line, going over terraces. I know a lot of it's got run over. That's going to be slow picking. Baker farm, got 3 separate fields totaling 30 acres, got inrows, and that's really what holds this picker up is trying to get all those inrows picked. And then you got little nicks like this right here where I'm making passes but doing a whole lot of turning around. Really kills the efficiency, but that's the topography of West Tennessee. That's what we got to deal with. Man, I would absolutely love to run one of these things down in the Delta for a day. I bet that'd be a lot of fun.
Beautiful Saturday day. Absolute crap show. Having to deal with animals, a child. I got out to the field after taking care of all the stuff at home, which takes me about 3 hours in the morning because I'm just spent when I get home. Had to take Matt's phone to the cell phone repair place because the man refuses to buy another one. Get that fixed. Send Carter to go get it, come back here, move bales. I've been on the phone about our farm cruise that's happening in January because things have just got away from me, and trying to get in contact with everybody. There's been new people who have joined, so yeah, I'm like mentally drained and done, but I'm here, so that's all that matters. Dad is back on the tractor again, and we're over at this farm where it's nothing but development surrounding it. There are more houses now way over there, which is going to be awesome when we start spreading that organic matter. And to the left of me right here, you can't see it, but they are building a giant subdivision, and this is the best part, okay? They will have townhouses, regular houses, rental houses, retail space, and wait for it, a farmer's market. You annexed farmland. You annexed farmland to put in a farmer's market. The best part is this town doesn't have the infrastructure to handle all of this. It's absolutely insane. And yet we're gonna farm between it all and spread that organic matter because we've got to convince our landlords that we will make them more money in the long run, and they're helping a small business out like us keeping our family in business than selling out to all these corporations. And that's exactly what they are, corporations to build subdivisions. Yeah, that's my rant for a Saturday. I'm gonna go pick up more bales and haul them back to the front up this lovely road. And yeah, that's it.
Let's see what dessert Kelly's got packed in my lunchbox. Oh no, look at this, my life is now complete. Christmas tree cakes have come back out again. Tell you what, the last 10.5 months have been really difficult without a Christmas tree cake. A lot of people told me, oh, they got other types of cakes, you know, they got you know, Valentine's cake, birthday cakes. Let's see, what else do they have? You got zebra cakes, you know, those are all the same. No, they are not the same as a Christmas tree cake. Man, that's good. Although I will say, I don't know how many of y'all watch Matt Mitchell on YouTube. He does some parodies and rating of Southern products and stuff. But anyway, he put me on to, you know how you got traditional zebra cakes? Well, they now got zebra rolls. Now, I gotta say, those are pretty good. Those are a close second to a Christmas tree cake, but nothing will ever beat a Christmas tree cake. All right, we're making a little bit of a pit stop here. Last few modules we made, noticed the wrap hasn't been all that tight, especially around the edges. Around the edges where it kind of curls back, it's kind of fluttering there instead of being pulled tight. And the same thing happened last year, and if I recall correctly, Tennessee Tractor came out and they took this wrap brake apart. And I don't know if they kind of cleaned it, but anyway, when they put it back, they didn't replace any parts, but when they put it all back together, it was working fine. So I think that's what we're going to try now, just take it apart, see if anything needs to be cleaned, make sure it's freed up and everything. But you can kind of see how loose it is on the floor there. You know, it's supposed to be pulled a little bit tighter than that. All right, here's the wrap brake mechanism. I think they just took it apart. I think this is a drum right here. I think they just pulled this pulley off and I don't know, cleaned it up, or I think it's an electromagnetic brake. So we'll just take her apart and see what she looks like. All right, before we take this apart, we're going to try something. We're going to try and put 12 volts to this clutch, make sure it actually engages. See, right now it's freewheeling. The battery booster's too smart for its own good. It doesn't detect anything, so it's not going to put out anything. I might need the jumper cables there. I don't think this is going to work. Yeah, because it's not reading the battery. This wire right here pulled out of this clip real easy. That might have been the problem itself. Just had a bad connection on this electromagnetic clutch. Alright, let's see if we can do this without making fire. Yeah, I mean, I can hear it doing something, but it ain't providing very much drag. So we'll take it apart. All right, take the hot off down there. The electromagnetic clutch is in the hub there, and it magnetizes against this. We can see where it's been dragging, but not a whole heck of a lot. You know, we got a drill in there. I don't guess we got a wire brush for that drill, do we? Have we got a battery for the drill? Well, you can take it off the grease gun and do that, and I'll get it cleaned up. All right, we just took it apart, cleaned it up real good, put it back together. Don't know if we fixed it or not, and really no way of testing it out until we wrap another module. So give her a try, see what she does. Alright, we just got a module made. Let's see how well she wraps. We should see this plastic coming around here. It's being stretched pretty tight. I know the last few rolls it didn't look like it was very tight, and it doesn't look like it's very tight right there either. Yeah, I don't think we fixed it here. Let's eject it. Nah, she's still a little loose right there around the edges. That didn't do it. I got to call into a mechanic who knows all about these. He's up underneath a picker right now. Hopefully he'll get back to me and maybe we'll be able to get it figured out. I mean, it's still wrapping. We can still fix. We got cotton in the field. They're holding together, just not quite as tight as I would like them. So I reckon we'll just keep on trying it. Who knows? Maybe it'll improve. Hey, you see all those houses through the tree line there? It was only a few short years ago, I think 4 years ago, I was actually picking cotton right over there. We used to farm that field. When I first started working it, it was like a 35-acre farm. The previous tenant had turned loose of it because the farm size had dwindled and it was kind of a pain in the butt to get to, but I said I'd take it over. It started out like 35 acres, and over the course of I think I farmed it about 5 years or so, and then of course it dwindled down to about 15 acres, and then that last year the landlord took in another section right here for these houses to be built on, and I finally turned loose of it. But 4 years ago, where you got all that asphalt and houses and sewer lines and everything, there was cotton growing on it. It's just sad here in the city limits of Jackson. I know it's inevitable, the urban sprawl, but that don't mean I gotta like it. And then this fall right here across the tree line, I'm pretty sure the last crop that's ever going to be planted was harvested on that. That's going to be a huge mega community development. They're going to have like townhouses, apartment buildings, regular houses. We'll have a park, I think an amphitheater, I think. And ironically, get this, they're going to have a farmer's market there too. They're going to take away farm ground, but they're going to have a farmer's market. Makes perfect sense, don't it? I mean, that's some prime farm ground over there that never going to be farmed again. And now this little old 46-acre farm that I'm working right now, as far as I know, there's no plans on it being sold or developed. And of course, that could change at any moment, but as of right now, there's no plans for this farm to be developed. And this is going to be, here potentially in a few years, there's going to be a little 46-acre homestead that's going to be completely surrounded by development. Well, it's going to be surrounded by development on 3 sides, and then a big 4-lane highway on the 4th side. Woo, look at this, look at this. What you got down here in the back bottom on Todd? It wasn't hurting for moisture all year long, and man, she loaded up from top to bottom and nice and fluffy. That's the way I like my cotton to look. Well guys, I'm going to fall far short of my goal today. We're not even going to get over to the Baker farm today. We got about 6-7 acres left on this farm, and by the time we get finished with it, it'll be full dark. And rather than trying to move over there in the dark and start a new field, what I think we're going to do is just go ahead and get this picker completely 100% serviced and ready to go in the morning. That way in the morning, when the dew's drying off, we can spend some more time diagnosing this thing. I really need my cotton picker Bible out here because I firmly believe the problem is there in the clutch, but the diagnostic procedures are all in the manual and everything. So we just changed over to a new roll of wrap a few rolls ago, and the problem seemed to get a lot better. Of course, when you think about it, that new roll is like this big around and heavy, and when you're pulling wrap off of it, it takes a lot more effort to pull the wrap off of it than it does a roll that's almost all used up. So I think that additional resistance from that bigger roll is what was causing it to wrap tighter, not necessarily the clutch or the brake working like it should. I think it's that inside clutch that we weren't able to test. I think that's probably the culprit, but I don't know if it's gone bad or it's not getting electrical signal or what. That's kind of why we need that manual out here. So we'll just try and go ahead and get this thing ready to go tomorrow, and that way tomorrow morning we got plenty of time to try and figure out what the problem is. Now, if the clutch has actually gone bad, nothing we can do about that until Monday. But if it's a blown fuse or a wiring problem or a bad connection, you know, then we should be able to fix it if we can find it. Man, look at that cotton though. Big, fluffy, and beautiful. And man, look at that. She's picking clean. I ain't leaving nothing on the stalk. That's what it's supposed to do. And when cotton's good and fluffy and just hanging out like that, that's what it does. Of course, we're down here in a nice deep bottom. No moisture was never concerned down here, and cotton had everything it needed to produce big yields. I mean, I've been seeing anywhere from 1,500 to 1,800 pounds up there on the monitor. Well, I sure wish it was all like this, but hey, I'm glad I got some of it rather than none of it. So anyway, guys, as long as nothing else happens in the next 30-45 minutes, I'll see you back out here in the morning. See if we can get that ramp problem figured out.
Little night update for you. It's been a day. I am literally getting my butt whooped. We haven't had rain in probably a good 17 days. This ground is absolutely as hard as concrete. So trying to go over it, you are literally getting tossed around like a pinball in the tractor. When I don't have a bale on the back, this is what I gotta deal with. So I'm gonna need a chiropractor and probably some more physical therapy. Oh my God! Yeah, it's been fun. We're about done with this. Andy got caught up on spreading chicken litter, and he is now on the bush hog since my dad and Carter are at Zombie Trail Camp Blood. Oh man. Ugh. Just look how dusty it is. Like, ugh. By the way, I have hit all of that and that has not moved. We are on day what? 3? Hasn't moved. Highly recommend you getting one. But, not that washout, not today. I'm hoping we'll get this done and maybe move tonight. I don't know, but I'm getting whooped, man. And I can't see out the back because it's so dusty. Now I have to go hunt for the pink bales. I don't know where they are.
Alright, we're back this morning. We're going to do a little bit more testing on this. I studied my picker Bible, but unfortunately there's no really any specific diagnostic test, no addresses we can go into the monitor in order to test these clutches, make sure they're getting signal or not. So, but anyway, there was a pretty good theory of operation explanation in there. So anyway, when your module gets ready to wrap right here, you got a wrap floor that lifts up to put the plastic in contact with the module, and then it also sends power to this drive right here. It engages this outside clutch that we were messing with the other day to turn your shaft. Now this turns a little bit slower than what the speed of the module builder is turning to keep tension on this plastic and to stretch it out good. And that's kind of where we saw the problem, just wasn't stretching the plastic out good. And then once the module gets close to wrapping completely, there's tags on here that a sensor reads, and then it sends a signal to our inside clutch here, which is a brake, to stop this shaft from turning while the module is turning, and then it tears it away at the designated space on this wrap, and where the adhesive is, and it sticks it together. I mean, this right here is not a solid sheet of plastic. There's different layers and thicknesses or whatever, but it's got 24 portions of plastic rolled on there, and each of those portions are actually separated, so you know, to where the module builder doesn't have to like cut the plastic or anything. What it does, it's got an adhesive that kind of sticks the portions together, and then when that brake kicks on to stop this, it tears it away from where that adhesive is sticking it, and then that adhesive is used to stick the outside roll of the wrap to the inside rolls to kind of glue it together and hold it together. You know, the wrapping process is fine, but something's not really keeping that plastic good and tight on that roll. So I don't know if it's a problem with the speed control or this. Something else I'm also kind of seeing that's troublesome. You see up here, see how all this plastic is kind of bunched up? That kind of tells me that maybe the brake for this roller is not working right, and you see, and it's letting it bunch up. This is supposed to be kind of pulled tight. So the only thing we can do now is really test this clutch out to see if it's, or not the clutch, but the brake, to see if it's working. And do that, we're going to run 12 volts from our battery up here and seeing if the magnet works to actually test this. And then if that works, really don't know where we go from there, because the only other way to test all this is to manually wrap it with the tether to get back here and watch. And we'll do that, we got to have cotton in the module, or cotton in the baler part. So we're going to test this first off. If the brake does not engage, well then we know what the problem is. We need to replace this brake. If it does engage, then we want to wait till we pick a little bit more cotton and try to diagnose it further. All right, see if you can roll that roll off. You can't roll it. All right, so that clutch is working. All right, so that clutch is definitely working if it's getting the signal, but there's no way to test if it's getting the signal or not. So, all right, after studying this thing and studying the diagnostic manual, new theory: everything back here is driven off the round round baler part. So if it's turning, I mean, and everything is engaging like it should, all this stuff is turning. Now we tested the clutch right here that engages this, that's supposed to turn that, and the clutch tests fine. However, what my theory is now is that this clutch is not working because I don't think it might not be getting a signal from the controller, but it can still feed wrap in because you got a rock shaft right here that lifts this bale floor and lifts the wrap up and presses it next to the belt. So my theory is that this part's working, and it's basically dragging the wrap into the bale, but because this clutch is not engaged, it's not providing any tension on this roller, and this roller is freewheeling, and it's not keeping tension on the plastic and stretching it out. So I got to call into the service manager to see if there's some kind of diagnostic address I can go into to send power to this clutch and see if it's actually getting power from the controller. I don't know if there is or not, but the only thing we can do, if my theory is correct, is get a module and then manually wrap it while we're back here watching and seeing if this clutch does in fact engage. And if it doesn't engage, well then we got a problem in the wiring between right here and the controller on the other side. All right, so something else we could test. This is a RMB controller right here. We got a wire in the H4 plug, and that's the one that sends power to the clutch. So we're going to try hooking 12 volts up to this one and then seeing if the clutch will engage. And if it does engage, well then our wiring's fine. If it doesn't engage, we got a problem somewhere in about a mile's worth of wiring harness. All right, touch the hot wire to the wire. Yeah, that's working. It's working. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, it's definitely locking it on there. Alright, I'm gonna put a pipe wrench on here, see if I can turn it with the clutch engaged. Alright, touch the wires. It's turning, but we're turning the whole RMB. That clutch is good and strong. It's grabbing like it should. Alright, we're going to do the same thing with the brake here. Alright, touch the wires. Alright, the brake's engaged too. Alright, let me see if I can turn the shaft. I shouldn't be able to turn the shaft. I can turn the shaft. Well, the brake's not grabbing as, I mean, it's engaging, but it's not really grabbing good. Alright, that might be our problem right there.
Hey, you got our problem.
So is that like a brake pad? And can that wear out?
Well, I mean, there's a disc in here, and there is kind of a groove cut into it. Alright, the brake was engaging here, but as you can see, I could still turn that shaft. It definitely was not locked up as tight as this, so I don't know if this electromagnetic part in here is getting weak. This disc that it grabs onto does kind of have a groove cut into it, so maybe this disc is wore out. So I guess just be on the safe side, we're just going to replace this part and this part. Alright, we've been doing some more investigating. Called Tennessee Tractor to see what a new brake and clutch assembly, because it gets sold all as one piece. A brand new one is $4,900, but because this is an early serial model 7760, also requires some modifications. Replacing this bar right here, I don't know how much that costs. Put in a call to a salvage place in Maury City and see if they had a used one in stock, but I haven't heard back from them yet. So while we were waiting, decided to do some more testing. So we took all that back off, put it on tailgate, run 12 volts to the clutch and the brake independently, and we tried to feel how much effort it took to prise this disc right here away from the clutch and then away from the brake. And my theory was that it's going to take a lot of effort to prise it away from the clutch, because the clutch was working right, but because the brake was slipping, it would prise away pretty easy. Well, it actually prized away with about the same amount of effort on both sides, so makes me think that there's nothing wrong with the electromagnet in the brake side, even though we were able to make it slip. Now, there's no spec or anything for, you know, how much, you know, there's no spec for whether you know, it's supposed to be slipping or anything that I can find. So I don't know. The only thing I know left to do is go pick some cotton, try to wrap it manually with us standing back there and watching it, and just, I guess, just seeing what's not working right. All right, on this wrap problem, after doing some more research, the owner's manual is absolutely useless. The diagnostic manual is not all that great. I found a website that's got some tips and stuff on maintenance of the wrap back there, and also some troubleshooting. Anyway, it says that when the wrap is feeding, the wrap roller should be initially turning at 233 RPM and then slowing to approximately 100 RPM during separation. So right here on one of my run screens, I can monitor that. So when it's wrapping, that's going to be the first thing I do, is monitor the speed and see if it slows down to that 100 RPM during separation. If it does that, then I mean, there's not any problem with the clutch or the brake. If it's still making loose wrap, then I'll have Kelly wrap it automatically here in the cab while I stand back there on the tailgate and watch the whole mechanism, try and see what's going on. All right, we just manually formed a roll. It's the right size, so we're gonna set this thing to wrap. All right, now we're going to click our auto button and watch that wrap speed. It should start out around 233, and then whenever it gets close to done, it should slow down to 100 RPMs. it did about right. It looked like it was a little high there initially. It was showing like over 240 when it should have been around 233, because it's supposed to turn a little slower than what the bales turn in, so it stretches the plastic. So I don't know if that's the issue, but the brake came on and stopped it and everything. So I don't know.
Don't know.
Next time we'll get out there back and watch it. We're getting down close to the end of the roller wrap. Only got 8 portions left, and this last one we just wrapped.
It's alright.
I mean, she looks nice and tight. So maybe our problem is solved. I wish I could tell you what the problem actually was. I guess if something is broke, just take it apart multiple times and put it back together, and maybe it'll fix itself. I guess that's a lesson to be learned from this. But hey, at least I don't have to go to the bank, ask them to write a check for $4,900 for the John Deere for a new clutch and brake.
Oh my God.
And I know I spent a lot of time showing our diagnostic process. It might have been boring to most of the viewers out there, but what I'm hoping is that by showing that, if somebody else has a problem with this type of picker and can't figure it out, they can go through the diagnostic process that we went through, because it's not described in the owner's manual, it's not described in the diagnostic manual, and hopefully, maybe it saves somebody an expensive service call if they're having to diagnose miswrap issues. So that's why I showed so much of it. I apologize if it's a little boring for the average viewer, but hopefully it'll help somebody else out there in the future. And well, who knows? I mean, I've used my own videos to go back and watch them when I face a problem a year or two down the road that I don't remember exactly what I did. I just go back and watch the video, and it makes things a lot easier. I don't have to figure it out a second time.
You can literally find anything on YouTube.
Unless it's about cotton pickers.
Unless it's about cotton pickers. And then what did I do? I phoned a friend, and he said kind of like the same thing, that check everything back there, and we did, and now it's working. It's amazing. I told him too, I said, we took everything apart, tested it all for like 3 hours, we put it back, and now it's working. And he said, that's usually how it goes. Like,
if I remember, I'll put a link to the website where I found a lot of that useful information that's, like I said, not covered in the diagnostic or owner's manual. So, if you want to reference it, it's got a bunch of good information on there. Just check down in the description down below.